When it comes to construction, renovation, or simply repairs, whether you're a seasoned pro or a do-it-yourselfer, having the right tools makes the job easier. Sawhorses support the piece of wood you're cutting, and a toolbox keeps your implements organized and portable. Sawhorses are always sold in pairs because you need two under a piece of wood to stabilize it for cutting. By pulling the hinge tray upward, the sawhorse collapses flat for transport and storage. This model is made from pellets of an exceptionally strong type of polypropylene plastic. A vacuum system draws the pellets into an injection molding machine. The machine melts them, then shoots the liquid into a mold. It takes about a minute for the liquid to solidify, at which point the mold automatically opens, and an articulated robotic arm removes the parts. For each sawhorse, two halves, the legs, and two panels, which form the collapsible hinge tray that holds those legs open. The robot drops those parts at the first assembly station, where a worker joins each panel to a sawhorse half and applies non-slip foot pads. These pads help keep the sawhorse stable and protect the floor from scratches. The worker lays out the parts for both sides of the sawhorse in a positioning fixture, then activates the press a couple of times to snap the parts together. At the next station, a worker inserts ribbed rubber pads into molded holes on top of each sawhorse half. These anti-slip pads help hold large pieces of wood steady on the sawhorse. Next, he lays both sawhorse halves on the work table and, with a tool called a stamping arm, snaps the two panels together. This forms a strong hinge, which opens and collapses the tray. The sawhorse is now finished and heads to the packaging station. There, a worker stacks two sawhorses, then with a foot pedal, activates a machine which binds them with a plastic strap. Then she tapes on a wraparound label. Have tools? We'll travel. This two-piece toolbox consists of a large storage tub on the bottom and a spacious toolbox on top. Like a rolling suitcase, it has two large polypropylene wheels with molded-on rubber treads and a collapsible pull handle. A toolbox doesn't have to withstand pressure bearing down on it, so it's made of standard rather than high-strength polypropylene. The injection molding process is the same. The storage tub, the toolbox bottom, and the toolbox lid are each molded separately. In the assembly area, workers apply an adhesive label on the front of the toolbox. Then install the latches for locking the lid. The latches slide into molded slots. After inserting a removable tray, workers install the lid with a few strikes of a non-marring urethane hammer. Both lid and latches snap in easily because the polypropylene is still hot and flexible. Once it cools and becomes rigid, the lid and latches can't dislodge. To assemble each wheel, workers position a star nut and steel axle into the wheel. Then, with an assembly ram, press the axle into the star nut to lock the parts together. They snap a wheel onto each side of the tub portion of the toolbox. Then, with the press, force the wheels into their final locked position. Once the toolbox and tub portions are each separately assembled, workers hang a parts tray on the rim of the tub. Then sit the toolbox on the tray and lock it in place with two large side hinges. And that completes construction of this workshop on wheels.